Dr. Anish TS from Kerala. Dr. Anish is a member of the state expert panel for COVID-19. He is working as an associate professor at the Department of Community Medicine, Government Medical College, Trivandrum. He is an expert in infectious disease epidemiology and has got more than 40 research publications in national and international journals. He'll be talking to us on understanding R naught in stopping the pandemic. Dr. Anish, please.
Good evening, all. Thank you, Ritesh, and thank you, Ajitatan, for this wonderful opportunity to be with the eminent speakers. So I think, can you share my slides? I have sent the slides. Okay. Now I am actually going to speak about R naught. Our interest is to know when and how the epidemic is going to be ended up. So we have got only three opportunities that I think. One is we will move to the old normal by either by herd immunity or by a vaccination, something like an old normal, or we will go for a new normal using break the chain. So these are the three opportunities that we have. Suppose we are going for herd immunity. Then what is meant by herd immunity? Herd immunity means when the infection is there in the community, the infected people and infected and cured people will act as a burden on the transmission chain so that the infection cannot move. If the recovered people are there more in the community, so the infection cannot move in the community and the infection will stop by its own. It is just like pulling or you pull a vehicle from moving it. If your force is too large, then the vehicle cannot move, even though the road is there again. So that is herd immunity. Then if you want to obtain herd immunity, then how much infection should be there? That is a most important aspect that we have to think. If you want to have herd immunity, a significant proportion of the people should be infected. So there you may be remembering, or you may heard about something known as R, or effective reproduction number. Effective reproduction number means from one person, from one infectious person, how many are infected. In the left-hand side in the slide, you can see from each and every one infected or infectious, 3 new infections are taking place. Suppose you are limiting it into 2, then the infection or the disease will not spread, or the disease will not grow faster. If it is less than 1, subsequently the disease is going to be subsided. So our interest is to keep your basic reproduction number. Basic reproduction number means number of new infections coming from an existing infection. It should be less than 1. That is known as flattening of the curve. So if R or effective reproduction number is 3, that means now each and every person is transmitting to another 3 people. You reduce it by 2. So you will get something like a herd immunity. That means if you want, that is known as herd immunity threshold. That means your 3 minus 1 divided by 3. If R is 3, R minus 1 divided by R is known as herd immunity threshold. That precisely means what proportion of people should be infected to obtain something like a herd immunity to stop further transmission. So this is for coronavirus, it is somewhere around 60%, but now we have got some publications that because of the heterogeneity in population, even a 40 to 50% of infection can stop the transmission. That means if you want to get herd immunity, you have to have 40 to 50% of people should be infected. If 1 by 4 people are symptomatic, that means 10% of your total population should be symptomatic to acquire herd immunity. That cannot be have an option for high-income countries as well as in low-income countries. Because in high-income countries, the elderly population, they are vulnerable to death is somewhere around 25 to 30%. So it will be difficult for them. For in a low-income country, it is also, again, it is very difficult because in our system, our infrastructure is not able to cater this much large amount of infections. Then what is that second option? That is vaccination. Vaccination also, the R or R naught is very important. That means you have to have vaccination effectiveness equal to the herd immunity threshold. That means almost at least 50% of people should be vaccinated and protected. Then only we can achieve the old normal, something like an old normal. So what is in our hand? What we can do now? Because vaccine is not in our hand. We cannot go out and get infection for herd immunity because it will actually the damage that is going to cause because of herd immunity will be much more. So the thing that we can do is we have to analyze and we will go for the break the chain. So it is very important to look at the transmission. You can see in the right hand side, it is you by hearing the word R, you may think something about the left hand side, but it is not. The corona or COVID-19 is not transmitting like this. You just look at the right hand side. R03 or R3 is just an average. Some people will transmit more number of people. Okay, in the next slide, you can see that the people, this is not even, here you can see that the number 7 is transmitting 7 people. In corona or COVID-19, there is super spreading events are very high. That means the next one. I am not actually explaining this, the next one. Okay, in COVID-19, the super spreading events are so high, just like this. This is again an example of where R0 or R is 3. It is not because everyone is transmitting 3 people, but because you can see the number 11. That single person is transmitting to 11. Suppose there are total 20 infections happened, 11 is from that single person. So this kinds of super spreading, preventing super spreading is very important to stop transmission. This is a new insight in COVID epidemiology. That means even 90% of your population is wearing mask. That doesn't mean that you can control COVID, because if the super spreader in the leftover 10%, then the disease transmission will be much faster. So we have to think about so many heterogeneity, because some people may be having high viral load that we cannot do anything about that, but some people will have some deviant behaviors. They will actually transmit the disease because of their deviant behaviors. Some places are very, for example, in marriage function, the transmission potential of transmission will be very high. In some events and some places, you have to think about these kinds of places where people can infect more number of people. If you can break this chain, or in this aspect, if you can stop super spreading, then it will be very, your break the chain initiatives will be very much effective. So we have to move on this direction to understand R0 and dispersion parameter K. K is the dispersion parameter, that means the presence of super spreading and all. That is very important. In short, we have got only 3 options. You have to go for herd immunity. That is not actually an answer at all. Second one is vaccination. That will come somewhere in the next year, or we will be benefited out of that. But till that point, we have to go for very energetically, we have to go for break the chain activities and spreading, preventing super spreading. That is the only way out. Thank you.